In the archives of history, forgotten currencies tell the story of empires of their rise, and their inevitable fall, not just through the deeds of kings, but in the silent language of money, a silver coin, worn smooth, a brittle paper note, each a relic of trust and value, once kept, then broken. The Roman denarius, the French assignat, the British pound sterling, these currencies feel distant, yet their stories echo today. They warn of a cycle: trust, expansion, debasement, collapse. Names and borders change, but the story of money remains the same. Today the United States dollar stands where they once stood. For generations, it has been the world's reserve, a symbol of American strength held in vaults. Used to price oil and wheat, the dollar is a constant in a changing world. But the same forces that toppled past currencies are at work again. Pressure, temptation, erosion of trust. Is the dollar different, or is it simply the latest actor in an old play? The fate of the dollar is not just economic, it's human. It's about trust, promises, and what happens when those promises feel hollow. The echoes from history are growing louder. They seem to be calling our name. The story of money is a warning and a question. Will we listen? Every currency is a promise, and every promise is fragile. The cycle repeats, and the world watches. The dollar's story is still being written. But history's lessons are clear for those who choose to hear them. The past is never as far away as we think. The relics of fallen empires are not just artifacts, they are warnings. The rhythm of rise and fall beats on the question is not if, but when. And whether we will recognize the signs before it's too late, the story of money is the story of us. And the next chapter is about to begin. Will we heed the whisper of fallen empires? The Roman Empire's silver denarius was once trusted across continents, a foundation of commerce and power. But as Rome overreached, expenses soared, and leaders debased the coin, mixing in cheaper metals. Trust eroded, inflation soared, and the economy unraveled. The collapse was slow, a symptom of deeper decay. Centuries later, revolutionary France issued the assignat, paper money backed by seized land. Desperate for funds, the government printed more and more. The assignat's value collapsed, bread cost a wheelbarrow of notes. Another promise broken, another currency ruined. Then came the British pound sterling, the world's reserve for over a century, anchored by gold and empire. 2 world wars drained Britain's wealth. Debts mounted, gold reserves dwindled. The Suez Crisis exposed Britain's decline. The pound's reign ended and history turned a page. Each of these currencies was once seen as unassailable. Each fell to the same temptations: overspending, overpromising, and the slow erosion of trust. The pattern is unmistakable. Empires rise on trust and discipline and fall when those are lost. The story of money is the story of power and its limits. No currency is immune. The lessons of Rome, France, and Britain echo in every dollar bill. The cycle continues, waiting for its next chapter. The past is prologue. The warning is clear. Will we repeat their mistakes? Or will we learn before history repeats itself? The answer lies in what we do next. After World War II, the world needed stability. At Bretton Woods, the US dollar was crowned the new global reserve, backed by gold. For decades, this system anchored the world economy. The dollar was as good as gold, a promise backed by America's unmatched power and gold reserves. But the dollar's dominance was also built on oil. In the 1970s, the US struck a deal. Oil would be priced in dollars, creating the petrodollar system and cementing global demand. Yet, as America spent beyond its means on war and welfare, the gold backing became unsustainable. In 1971, Nixon closed the gold window. The dollar became pure fiat, backed only by faith in the US. The world kept using dollars, but the foundation had shifted. The dollar's value now depended on trust, nothing more. The petrodollar kept demand high, but the link to real value was gone. The system endured, but the seeds of future strain were sown. The dollar's story became one of faith, not substance. And faith, history shows, is fragile. The world's trust in the dollar is the only thing holding it up. How long can that trust last? For decades, the world trusted the dollar. But today, cracks are showing. America's national debt has soared to unimaginable heights. To fund this, the Federal Reserve prints money at unprecedented rates. Quantitative easing, the modern debasement. Inflation follows, eroding the value of every dollar. Ordinary people feel it daily: rising prices, shrinking savings. Trust in the system weakens. Other nations notice, questioning the wisdom of holding dollars. The dollar's exorbitant privilege depends on global faith. But that faith is wavering. The world is watching and preparing for change. The foundation of the dollar is no longer as solid as it once seemed. The consequences are only beginning to unfold. The shift away from the dollar is quiet, but real. Countries are diversifying reserves, seeking alternatives. China and Russia lead the way, building systems outside US control and trading in their own currencies. Even old allies like Saudi Arabia are considering selling oil and other currencies. Central banks are buying gold, not US bonds, a silent vote of no confidence. The petrodollar system is fraying. The world is hedging its bets, preparing for a new era. The age of pure faith in fiat currency may be ending. Old certainties are fading. The global financial order is shifting. The signs are everywhere for those who look. The world is moving on, step by step. The dollar's dominance is no longer assured. Reserve currencies rarely collapse overnight. The change is slow, cracks form, trust erodes, but the system lingers. Each new debt, each round of money printing, each inflation spike chips away at confidence. Eventually a tipping point is reached. The unraveling accelerates, what was gradual becomes sudden. The loss of reserve status brings painful consequences, higher interest rates, a falling dollar, soaring import costs. America's standard of living, built on dollar dominance, faces a reckoning. For the world, the transition is chaotic, no clear replacement, just volatility and uncertainty. The rules of global finance are rewritten. The fall of a reserve currency is geopolitical, not just financial. It marks the end of an era and the start of something new. The process is messy, unpredictable, and often humbling. The world must adapt, searching for a new anchor. The story repeats, but never in exactly the same way. The next chapter is coming. History doesn't predict the future, but it reveals patterns. Every fiat currency has failed, destroyed by overspending, overpromising, and the lure of easy money. The dollar's era has been long, but the conditions that made it possible are fading. Debt is too high, trust is eroding, and the world is searching for alternatives. The end of the dollar's reign is a question of when, not if. Will it be a slow decline or a sudden collapse? The warning signs are clear: rising gold prices, central banks diversifying, everyday people feeling the squeeze. We look at the ruins of past empires and tell ourselves we're different. But believing in our own exceptionalism may be the greatest risk of all. No empire, no currency lasts forever. The pattern is clear and it's unfolding now. The story of money is the story of trust and its limits. The next chapter is being written before our eyes.